All right, we're on to the next part of the Chapter 5 test, starting with number 22. Number 22 says the number of students taking an exam has increased from 90,000 in 2007 to 420,000 in 2009. Find the rate of change in the number of students taking the exam with respect to time. And then it asks us to figure out what our rate of change in is. And if we look at this, we have two different variables, two things that are changing. We have the time, and the time is measured in years, and that will be our independent variable, or our x value. And then we have our number of students that are taking the exam, and that will be our dependent variable, or our y, as part of our ordered pair. And so when we go to look at our 2 points here, our first point is that in 2007 that the number of students taking the exam was 90,000. And then in 2009, that increased to 420,000. And so what we're going to do is take our change in our y value. So we're going to take 90,000 and subtract 420,000. And that is going to give us a negative 330,000. And then if we take and see the change between 2007 and 2009, and that's going to be negative 2. When we divide that out, we are going to have 165,000. And if you think about what our numerator represented, that was our difference in students. So that is going to be students. And if you think about what our denominator represented, that was our time in years. And so the rate is, when we look at that, the rate is 165,000. The units for that would be in students per year. Write the equation of the line showing it right. I immediately know, since it's increasing, that is a positive slope. And I note that the y-intercept is right here at 0, 6. So if I'm using y equals mx plus b, I already know that this is a positive 6. If I look at my slope, I count up 2, so up 2 is a positive 2, and then I count over 1, and to the right 1 is a positive 1, and my slope is going to be 2 over 1, or 2. So I'm going to have y equals 2x plus 6. All right, so the next one, 24, says find the slope of the line. If we look immediately, it's going downhill. I know it's going to be negative. And then if I count from the point that was given here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is down 6, which is a negative 6 move, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a positive 5. So my slope is going to be a negative 6/5. And I would immediately know that my slope wasn't undefined, because for it to be undefined, it would have to be a vertical line, and I clearly had a line that had a negative slope that was decreasing. All right, number 25, use the relationship between altitude and the boiling point of temperature. If the altitude at an altitude of 8,400 feet, the liquid boils at 201.24 degrees Fahrenheit. At an altitude of 4,300 feet, the liquid boils at 206.98. Write an equation to give the boiling point B of the liquid in degrees Fahrenheit in terms of the altitude A. What is the boiling point of the liquid at 2,300 feet? Okay, so when we're looking at this, the altitude there, okay, would be what would be my independent variable, so that's going to come first, 8,400, and the other variable would be the boiling point, which is B. Okay, and then the next point here is the 4,300 and the 206.98. And so we're going to write an equation that gives the boiling point of liquid, and we want it to figure out, we need to first figure out what the slope is here. What's the rate of change? So let's do that first. And so we're going to take the change in y, 201.24, minus 206.98, over the change in x, 8,400 minus 201.24. So that's what we're doing first. And I think I wrote that in wrong. Oops. That should be 8,400. The change in my x is minus 4,300. And so when I take and divide those numbers, that is going to give me a negative 0.0014. The next digit's a 0, so I'm going to leave it at that. So that is my m value. I'm now going to have to take my slope here and use one of these points as my x1, y1, and substitute into point slope form so that I can figure out what the y-intercept is. Now, this time keep in mind that instead of using x and y, they have asked us to use in this particular equation, they've asked us to use a and b. So b minus b1 equals m times a minus a1. And so I'm going to have b minus 201.24 equals my slope, which is a negative 0.0014 times x minus 8,400. And so I'm going to leave this as it is for a second and do the distributive property here. That's going to give me a negative 0.0014x, and then I'm going to multiply that negative 0.004 times 8400. Okay. And now I'm going to take and add this 201.24 to both sides. And so I'm going to have b equals a negative 0.0014 x, and then I'm going to have to add these two together. 11.76 plus 201.24. And that is going to give me plus 213. And so I did it again. I'm so used to writing x. I didn't write in a. So I need to change that very quickly. And so b is going to be equal to a negative 0.0014 a plus 213. And then right here. All right, so if we are asked or told that the boiling point is this, that means we're going to say, what is the boiling point if the liquid is at 2,300 feet? So this is the A, the altitude. And so we want to figure out the boiling point. So the boiling point is negative 0.0014 times 2300 plus 213. And so that just becomes a calculator problem. And our answer for the boiling point should be 209.78. And that is degrees Fahrenheit. Determine whether they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. If I look at the slope here, the slope is 4/3. If I look at the slope here, the slope is a negative 4/3. For parallel, they must be exactly the same. So they would either both have to be 4/3 or both have to be negative 4/3. So that is out. For perpendicular, they have to be opposite signs, which they are. One is positive and one is negative, but they would also have to be reciprocal of one another. So if we look here, the numerators are both 4, the denominators are both 3. We don't have that reciprocal, so they are not perpendicular, therefore they must be neither. Graph the equation of the line. Our slope is 3, positive 3. I know the numerator is 1, so that tells me I'm going to move up 3 and to the right 1. The y-intercept is at this point 0,4, so I'm going to start at 0,4, and my slope is going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. And that is our line.